done it different tonight.
Hello.
Yeah. So good evening and welcome to Sparkle of Light Spiritual Chat Show. Tonight we have our lovely guest, Anita Panayiotis. I hope I have said that correct, Anita. You've got a name like mine, Trevorrow. It gets kind of mixed up with many other names. Okay. So it's great to have you on this evening, Anita. Now, Anita is a psychic medium, which is also an animal communicator as well, and has been doing. She works in the UK and she also works internationally as well. And Anita's also got her own podcast called jJam, jJam podcast, which we'll discuss later on during the chat. And Anita holds a pass for the SNU, Spiritualist National Union, which is a platform accreditation scheme. So it's a certificate for that. But on top of that, she's actually a master teacher for the prestigious Lisa Williams School. So she did her training with Lisa Williams. So been interesting to find out a little bit more about that as well. And furthermore, she served as a kennel club assessor, and she was the judge in the Good Citizen Dog Scheme Crufts in 2018. So there is a lot there, that you've got behind you, Anita. But more than anything, what really interests me is the animal communication and how you have developed that from where you started to where you are now. So where did it begin with you? Was it a childhood thing that started, or was it something that you just you always had, but you just developed it later on in life?
I really, my journey has been with animals. All of my earliest memories are regarding animals. I'm not going to lie to you. I was fortunate enough to be brought up in a family that are very animal minded as well, especially my father. And so we had, from my memories, we had dogs, we had you name it, virtually we had it. From the only animal creature I never shared my life with was a horse, because my mum said they're too big. I've had hamsters, we've had bearded dragons, we've had birds, we had everything possible, to be honest with you. And I always wanted to be a vet growing up, but I will confess, my mum used to say, and it's truth, I wasn't clever enough. And I think, to be honest with you, I think I could have been, but I wasn't particularly academic. I prefer to talk. I must admit, I do talk too much, and all of my school reports say Anita talks too much. That was me.
You're a Monster 8 company tonight.
Everything Anita talks too much. To be honest, I didn't have the staying power. I loved school. I loved going to school, but I love the social, my friends, and all that aspect of being at school. So the idea of me being a vet really wasn't particularly, good, because it's not going to happen. So my first career, I actually went into hairdressing, funny enough, where I could talk as much as I like without being told off. And then, but dogs was always a massive part of my life. And then what happened was I lost one of my dogs, which was a standard poodle, very, very suddenly passed to spirit, and seemed to be a picture of health. I was so devastated. And again, only animal lovers will really understand the concept of when you lose an animal, the pain that comes with losing an animal that is so close to you. Because at the time, someone said to me, "Well, it's only a dog, get them a dog." I thought, no, it's not. It's not like that. When you lose an animal, that intensity, it's just like losing. It's like losing part of your soul, part of your own family.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a physical ache. It's a physical ache there.
Ache. And you, for all these like ifs and buts and whys, and blame yourself for all sorts of reasons. And I rushed out because I had to have another dog. I just rushed out and got a Doberman puppy. And I laugh because he was my learning curve. He was a gentle giant. He was probably the naughtiest dog you probably could, behavior-wise. I mean, he'd be looking at me, and you could almost see his mind. What can I do to get her to do this? Like looking. So I enrolled in a local dog training club, puppy class, and it's funny because just when you just do something in your life and it just fits. I went to puppy class, and I was in puppy class for a long time, and it got to the Christmas period, and they said a big announcement came. that we're going to give this award away, which we very rarely give out to people. And I'm thinking, oh, what's this award going, and who's it going to go to? And they called out my name and Jimmy, and it was perseverance. But consequently, I actually went on, and the lady who ran the club asked me if I'd help out with puppy class, because I learned such a lot from him. And I actually then I got very involved in dog training, dog club. And I actually went on to I'm a dog trainer, behaviourist in my own rights. I don't do that much now, but that's where my journey.
Oh, are you? I need to speak for you with tips. 100%. I need to talk. I need your help.
And that's really where it all started. And of this concept, like growing up, I say to my nan, I want to be Dr. Doolittle. You know, when you joke about it and laugh about it. And they just used to humour me, my family.
Yeah.
And then like that, literally, I was one day, by the day I'd done some training, done some qualified in the area of dog training. And I had my own dog training school at that point. And there was a particular lady who was coming to me with this rescue collie dog, a beautiful, and I won't forget his name, called Teddy. And he was a beautiful dog. But it was a bit of a mismatch, shall I say. And every week I'd give her a format to practice and do. And she'd come back and that didn't work. So I'd give her another format and no, that didn't work. And she'd come back next week. This went on for about 2 months. And in the end, I thought, I looked at her and I think, well, I've run out of ideas. And I looked at Teddy and he looked up at me and he said to me, she's not telling you the truth. Well, that's really where it all really started, because I just wanted to learn more, do more. And for me, with animals, it truly is about, I love doing pet dog training because people like that really love their animals mostly. And I think it was really where I felt very gifted to work with the animals. So whereas I wanted to work with dogs in the form of being a vet, it took a different direction. So with the dog training, and then what happened was, because I more and more people came to me through communication, I couldn't do the both. I couldn't do dog training and communication. I had to let one go. So from letting the dog training go, the animal communication side of my life grew a lot stronger, and that's really, we say now, where it all sort of started from. But started from my dad, really.
Yeah.
You know,
We went from, you were saying when you got the dog, we went from we always had rotties, and and everyone's seen their life out with us, but we lost everyone to cancer. And we said, okay, this is just heartbreaking. It was the grief. It was, like you said, it was so heart-wrenching. And they were our family, our loved ones. And so we said, okay, no more. We just can't do that anymore. And then after a while, I said to my partner, I'd love a wee dog, just a wee dog that'll sit in your knee when I'm taking my daughter to school, and come out in the car for a wee run, and and like, we thought we were getting a wee dog. See, when you see TikTok and you see people being woke up with fur babies and like the cockapoo, that's how Benjamin wakes me up every single morning. And we weren't prepared for a cockapoo. From a rotties to a cockapoo, I remember saying to my partner, it's like having another child. Oh my word. And it was really eye-opening for us. But I think we totally spoiled him, Anita, to the stage where he's very rebellious. So
I think that's part of the cockapoo, because our cockapoo is exactly the same, but I just love her to bits. She's in her bed at night, and it's the three of us.
Benjamin's the same. Do you know what? Yes, if I go out, he right now he's in my bedroom trying to see what he can find. But if I go out, he lies at the door and waits for me to come back. And when my partner goes out, oh my word, I say it's one man and their dog, because they do have one. They say they always have one. But he's the most human dog we have ever had, Anita. We've never had a dog as human as him ever. So we're really trying to find our way with him. And it's, do you communicate with all the animals that's living, or do you specialize in specific animals, or?
No, my love is dogs. I'm a dog person. I think it goes down to, we talk about spirit animal guides, because I'm a big fan of the animal spirit guides as well. And we talk about the totem animal. And I know here the totem animal is an animal that comes in for this incarnation for our whole life. And the animal can also be like lineage through the family. So I know for me it would be, we say the wolf because obviously the dog, descends from the wolf family. So I know that's why for me but I communicate with all animals. I mean, I've got tortoises, I've had lizards, I've had fish. So there's not an animal I'd say to up until today. The only thing I've not really communicated with a spider, if I'm honest. But
what's the hardest you find? You mentioned fish and you mentioned lizards. I would never even have thought of that, but it makes sense because we've got reptiles and with all types of animals. So what's the hardest and the easiest, like both ends of the scale, did you find?
I would say get your human out of the way. That's the hardest.
Yeah.
Because the animal is that all animals are sentient to some degree. All animals will have that Cartesian body clock of some degree. Even if it's only like, if it's a praying mantis, it's got 24 hours. It will still have some intelligence around it and about it. And so again here, we can like with we can pick a dog, there's a lot more range of probably emotions we can pick up on because they're so domesticated, they're so entwined with our own lives. So we look more so to the more wild or feral animal, but they will still feel cold, they still feel hungry, they still feel pain,
fear and scare,
and fear, scare, and joy, and every emotion has a if science tells us has a frequency. So that is so the frequency of joy for us is the same as the frequency of joy for an animal. The frequency of fear is the same for us as it is for an animal.
So can you link into their like past lives and like other lifetimes that they've had? And
yeah,
I was saying to Alice, we chat about our fur babies and really our babies. But I always get a piece of ribbon and I always rub the ribbon over every time we get a fur baby. I always rub the ribbon over our fur baby and I read their energy. And I love doing that. Do you pick up about all their past lives and things like that?
You can do. Well, often with an animal, their past lives, they have the soul contract. They make the same as we do. So again, here often an animal will pick who they are coming to. Now, again, this is quite a big area we look at the past lives because you'll find that an animal will probably, if they cross before, like you've got animals that's crossed over, they will probably wait for us, sometimes to cross over. If you've got, say, like some animals are so bad discarded by humans, they may choose not to want to come back. They may choose to want to stay up there, again, because but then animals can be so forgiving. They're very unconditional love. Often will come back, but there's some that will choose, they cross over, they want to stay up there. Regarding the past lives, again, I think because they carry less baggage than we do. We carry as humans a lot of baggage, emotionally, with our vocabulary. So with the animals with a past life here, I do feel it's more of a case of reincarnation as well as they come back.
Yeah.
I have a lot of people who ask me about the reincarnation aspect of animals. Of the word I like to use is returners, and you might find you have a returner, or you're looking for that returner. I now with me now have a returner. Didn't know it at the time, but soon after my Phoebe. You might have seen pictures of her on Facebook. She's the Pharaoh hand, different breed, different sex. She is, I know, my Jimmy reincarnated because she does everything he does, she does. and as naughty.
Our last Rottweiler, we rescued him. We didn't pick his name and we kept his name. So we rescued him when he was a year. And it's the first time we ever did that because we always had them from babies. And I knew there was a big growth on his leg, and my partner, it started off quite small, and I said to my partner, that's cancer in his leg, and he was like, no, it'll be okay, and I just knew, and I can remember my spirit team, and they said to me, Judith, Cain's going to come back to you as a high guide. You're losing him in this form, but you're gaining them in this form. But he won't come back as the dog form. He's coming back as the human form. that kind of, and I can remember thinking, gosh, it's very bittersweet. And I kind of knew, and would have been about 3 weeks after we lost Cain, he came forward as in the form, different from when we lost him.
Well,
He's still with me.
Yeah.
He's still with me.
If I can just say as well, I'm trying to get in here. Yeah, I lost Cassie about 8 weeks ago, and I knew when she went to the vet, when the vet said it's a wart, there's nothing else wrong with her. I knew it was a tumor. And I said, just cancer. She's got a mass here. And it was me had to push to get the test done. But when I did get the test done, it was a mass, and she only had 6 to 8 weeks to live, but she lived for the 12 weeks. But yourself with your dog, yourself that your own gut is telling you something serious is going on here.
Plus, if you go a nurse, you might pick that up quicker again as well. On top of that,
I have had many people. Sorry, I'm lost. I've had Cassie come back to me on many different occasions, and on the day that she passed, when we came home, we got a chap on the back door, and then that's what Cassie used to do. She never scratched the door; she chapped the door, and the two of us looked at each other, and we both went, "That's Cassie's chap," And I just opened the back door, and people would think maybe she's a bit crazy doing this, but I opened the back door and I says, "Come in, Cassie," because I knew it was her. And then I knew she was walking in. I could feel her walking in. And that night I kept feeling her tail touching my leg. I kept smelling her as well, because there was a scent that she had shortly before she passed. I kept getting that scent. And then later on, we heard a distance, like her bark. Yeah, but it was from a distance, but we could hear it. It was like it was muffled, So she's came back to us a few times, and at night time when I'm in my bedroom, sometimes I can hear her down the stairs. It's getting less now. Than it was, but I did hear her last night, and I hadn't heard her for about a week, ago. So I wonder if it's because she knew this show was coming on tonight or whatever. But I could hear her last night.
Yeah, I think they're so intelligent, and they know, and and also what I feel, as they know, as we start to go through that grieving process, which can be, no one puts a tag on the length of time grief can take place. I think as we process that grief, and they feel then like they can probably relax more themselves, aren't they? They're present to sort of just to be with you when they're called and be around you. And I know often when I see dogs or any animal on the spirit side of life, they're over there like enjoying their life, like they would have down here, outside being free, or they want to be indoors. They show me a great vista of how they live their life once they've crossed over. So I suppose it's nice for them to think they're still around us, but at the same token, they can also transition and enjoy a life again while they're over there.
Can I take you back to your training with the Lisa Williams School? That must have been really good. What did that entail?
It was really hard work, I have to say to you. It was really worth it. It was we've done a lot of Zoom online to start off with. That was over about a year's process. Then we had it was like 3 weeks intensive when she came to the UK, where we had to literally intense. And then we had to sit an exam as well. It was at the time she said 7-hour exam. We're thinking 7 hours, we're going to be doing 7 hours exam, but it really was, that time went so quickly. But it's all about really, first of all, she starts with you looking at yourself, really, just stripping away of yourself, stripping away of the ego, stripping away of and spending time just working on yourself before you can think about sort of working with other people. And it really took us back to your roots when you first started your journey. Even though I've been sort of on the journey quite some time, but it was like stripping all of that away back to basics. And then from there, sort of rebuilding new impression that we learned and that we taught. And what was really lovely is very much about the person in front of you, and also like a lot of team play was brought into it as well, working together. And Lisa's was very good, as in she generally shares all of her knowledge with you. She freely gives what she to us to go on and to work and to create. And it was a phenomenal, it was a major turning point actually, what I learned from, and the girls we worked with as well were great girls as well. So it was a really, really great course that we went on, and we had, I learned so much from it. I think also, because it was so intense, you got to really dig in deep to yourself, that aspect, which really makes you feel that you're on that path for the right reason as well, which was good.
I just thought that would be quite interesting, to have went there. I know you've done a lot since then, though. You went to Crufts as well, so you've been at Crufts, so that must have been. You go there quite often, though, don't you?
When I went in 2018, that's because I as I sort of, I'm one of these people. If I do something, I like to try and do it at the best of my ability. It's just me, and I'm a water sign, so I tend to like move on to other things quite freely. So when I've obviously done my dog training, and I was my club was a kennel club, registered club as well. So the next progression was to become a kennel club assessor, which I still am a kennel club assessor for the Good Citizen Scheme, and I'm doing that on Thursday for a local club down here. So I'm still got my involvement in the dog world quite a bit. But then the kennel club just rang me out the blue a few years back, said, would you like to judge the Good Citizens at Crufts? And I was like, I was over the moon, because it really is the pinnacle of your career, not being fair, to be asked to invite to go and work at Crufts on that arena. It was like, oh my God, yes. I said yes. And obviously on the day you're on a big stage set up where the public can sit around and watch you, and people there with their dogs, and the TV crews on. So it's quite intense. But I thought, you know what, it's going to be over in a flash. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to enjoy every moment of it while I'm out there. And I did. And because it's obviously being watched by the kennel club as well, there's a like a level of standard that is expected, so it's never a fail. It wasn't not ready, and on that day only one person weren't ready, which was quite sad really, but everyone else passed. They're good citizens.
But do you work with Archangel Ariel?
I do.
Archangel Ariel is the patron saint of animals, and it's she's lovely. Anybody I know who works with animals always has such a strong connection to her, and I know they both go hand in hand. My dog groomers, she shows her poodles at Crufts.
Oh, does she?
Yeah. I've never I watched, was it Barbara Woodhouse?
Oh, I used to love Barbara. Now, the interesting thing is, I don't know if you know this, ladies, but I went to a charity. I don't go to charity shops or junk, but I went walking past, and there was this book in there written by Barbara Woodhouse. It's so ancient, and it's called The Psychic Pet.
So was she like a bit of a communicator, an animal communicator?
Yes, I've not read it as of yet, but I was actually when I saw her name, because I said, Walkies.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was just literally going past a charity shop, and I was like, oh, Barbara Woodhouse book, and it was The Psychic Pet. So she obviously must have had, and people who don't know Barbara Woodhouse, this back in the 1970s. I mean, she was a big figure back then. And
she was,
She was a massive figure. And
she was actually teaching the adults, not the dogs, wasn't she?
Yes. She was very said it as it was.
Yeah. And really, she probably got that. I must read that book, because obviously underlying of that, she must have had communication with her animals to written that book.
Yeah. I didn't know that. I can remember that's what I associate Crufts with. Because growing up, I can remember my mum watched it, but that just those two always went hand in hand. I just associated Crufts with her.
She was great. I loved Barbara Woodhouse.
Now you think about it, she probably was an animal.
I truly think that. When I used to watch her, I can't remember how old I was there. I was a lot younger than I am now, for sure. But I remember she used to have her own program, didn't she? She had a weekly program, and I wouldn't miss it. I wouldn't miss it for nothing. And I always remember, when I thought, oh my God, I didn't know she wrote a book about that. So obviously, an old book, but I shall read it and I shall post it to you ladies who want to read it after me, because obviously she probably had that like me. You start doing work with animals and it just flows. That communication starts to flow.
Yeah.
I'm laughing at Alice because when we mentioned it, Alice went walkies, but that's what I remember her saying. Yeah, exactly. It was like, That's
and it was the parents that got into trouble. It was never the dog. She was
Stop.
But isn't that true? Really, people who work with animals, yes, we're all animal lovers, but I don't work with animals. But a lot of people who work with animals, they have such a better connection with animals than they can, people, they don't take to always. I don't mean that in the wrong way, but, you can better relationship with animals to what somebody who doesn't work with animals has with animals.
Well, you'd hope so, but not always.
Well, I suppose it's like a lot of things too.
I'm not about spiritual workers or healers, but just sometimes the more you there's some things here that that's when I think as a communicator or a person that works with animals, we need to stand up and be a voice as well. It's about, for me, it's about being the voice for the animal, because often their voice does not get heard, it gets lost, it gets missed. It's only really, really recently, I think less than 2 years, and it's not about politicians or governments, but it's only the last 2 years that the governments recognise that animals are sentient beings and have feelings in the last less than 2 years.
You see, I don't believe, Alice, do you, about testing on animals?
No, I do not.
No. I don't like that. I don't like the thought of that either.
No, it's horrible. It's horrible. It's just, in fact, I was watching Jeremy Clarkson's program, The Farm.
I'm watching that too.
I do like that program, and I really do like Jeremy Clarkson as well. And we were watching it, and the pig and the sheep, and then when that pig had to go, and I was sitting in tears, and then I thought, you hypocrite, because you eat bacon, and I thought, this is making me really think here. There's no point in getting upset about this, and and all the cows going, and then the sheep and that pig, and then all the animals that died, all the wee pigs that died, and I said, there's no point in getting upset about it, because you actually eat gammon steak, you eat ham, you'll eat beef. Do you not see, since that program though, since watching all that?
Are you a vegetarian, Alice?
Sorry?
Are you a vegetarian? I'm not a vegetarian. Okay.
No, that's what I'm saying. I would eat bacon, so I felt a bit of a hypocrite. So I feel, it's made me think a great deal about where I am with it, because there's no point in me sitting there upset in tears watching this, and then I'll go and have a roll in bacon, or there's no point. You need something. I'm really thinking in my head now about things, and it kind of, I don't know, it was really upsetting. I felt it really upsetting, and all those wee piglets dying, etc. as well. And it does make you think, though. It does make you think, because you are still putting that food in your mouth, so why get upset about it, because yourself, where it's coming from, but you don't think about that. You don't think about that when you're eating it. But see, when you start thinking about it, you start thinking, ugh.
I've even as a small child, when I first knew, I was brought up in a family where meat and 2 veg was your main meal, and you didn't eat your dinner, you didn't go out to play, full stop.
That's right.
We had a rather fat sausage dog, so I'm going to say. When Mum weren't looking. But this is where I think sort of something about when aspects we might be born into a way of working, because I remember like being given an egg, for example, an hard-boiled egg or dippy an egg, as my nan would call it, and I said to my nan, where's the egg come from, Nan? And when she told me, that was it. I can't, even today, I struggle to eat eggs.
But we've got a question here. Kira, our late cat's energy seems to always come through much stronger on a Sunday than other days of the week, which I found very interesting. That is quite interesting, actually.
Mhm.
You know,
it could be because I don't know. It could be because maybe on a Sunday you're a bit more relaxed yourself on a Sunday, not so look at the clock, rushing around. There's more, so you're a bit more still within yourself, quieter within yourself, at home, more relaxed. The essence of you pick the animal's energy up more yourself, the vibration more yourself.
yeah,
I never thought of that.
yeah. Well, do you know, it does make you think, though, doesn't it? You know, we've got a little.
It
Sorry,
does.
yeah.
Sorry, I was just going to say it does. You know, when I think about it, I won't eat duck or goose or anything like that. And my partner always says to me, "But Judith, you'll eat chicken or you'll eat turkey at Christmas." And I'm going, "Yeah, no, but I was brought up eating chicken or turkey." And he say to me, "But I don't understand what's the difference." And I'm going, I just couldn't eat it. I just could quite. I know it sounds silly, but I
get it.
I never ate them as a child, so I can't eat them now. And it's funny how the mind works, like you say, Alice.
Yeah.
Subconsciously, you're not really paying attention to that.
Yeah.
Until it's kind of outlined.
My daughter, she's vegetarian, but she's been vegetarian since she was 8 years of age. And it even before that, because she didn't want to eat meat, and it was me that was saying, well, you're meat and your veg, etc. And then I thought, she's eating all the vegetables and the potatoes, but she's leaving the meat. And I thought, I was worried about it because she was growing, and I thought, well, should I be getting her extra vitamins? I would give her, so I did speak to a doctor about it, and he said, you're going to have to go with this. He says, because this is a natural thing. This is not something that she's decided. This is something that she naturally does not want. And I did, and she has been since she was 8 years of age. Never touched meat. I did just before that, but not since 8 years of age. She likes her pasta. She likes rice. She likes vegetables, fruit. But she's not vegan, but she's vegetarian. But as I said, she's not far off being vegan because she doesn't eat a lot of egg either. But out of interest, Anita, what kind of cases would come to you looking for help? Now, I know I came to you at one point in the past when Cassie was alive, but what other cases would you get that someone would come to you seeking some help and guidance that you could get from their dog,
I do get a lot of quite a wide variety now of communication that I do, and there's a big call for, which is probably the most upsetting actually for any animal lover, is when the animal goes lost or missing, or sometimes stolen, because it's when we're working in that way, I could get up to 3 or 4 a week. I get a lot of lost animals, and the most important thing is when you sort of contact with a missing animal is ideally the quicker you connect with the animal, the better the outcome can be, because often people might wait 3 weeks, 6 weeks, or a month to have gone past, and that's a lot of time to have gone past then connecting with that animal. So that is sort of a big area that I do cover. But which is what I'm thankful for. I'm not often available immediately. It might be a 2-week wait. So again, it's that process. I always say to people, the sooner you start with a communicator, when an animal's lost, the better, because again, when we lose an animal, we don't know first, is it still alive? Is it been stolen? Is it just missing? You've got to work at that aspect first. Emotions are running very high, A, for the human that's lost their animal, also B, for the animal who's gone missing, for what the purpose might be. And then their mind, they're confused, clarity's not that good. So that's a big area where I do a lot of my work in. Then the other area where I do a lot of my work in is the rescue animal. So we get a rescue animal where someone's going to bring in a new animal, and they're not sure, they want to know its past. And this is a lovely way of working, because you can't it's not something we can necessarily validate, because often in mediumship people want validation. But when we've got a rescue animal that comes in, unless the rescue centre has the full formula of what's taken place, which is very, very rare, so it's nice when we do this way of working, because and then often what happens is they understand why. Might like a collar around its neck. So like a lot of rescue animals come from overseas and they've been secured by a collar outside, or why the animal doesn't like loud noises. So we can pick a good picture up and an impression of why the animal was behaving a certain way in a new home, and that can really help the animal, to settle in, to adjust, and for their new owners to work with the animal. And often, again, with the animal, it's like sometimes we're going to bring a rescue animal in, they can overcompensate and make the animal feel more nervous. So it's getting what's really the animal feels happy. So that's another I work with a lot. Other times we get here animals that have crossed over. When someone's animals just, and they want to know the animals. This is where an area that gives me a lot of comfort when I do this type of work as well. Sometimes an animal, it comes to that last part of their life, the transition stage, and I've been there many times. It never gets any easier. When is it a day too early, a day too late? We've all been there. That concept, and again, some people come to say, is it time for them to go? And that can give a lot of comfort to talk the human and the animal through it. I had someone just very recently, the animal wanted to pass naturally, but again, sometimes that's not possible, because you've got to think of the well-being of the animal, how long the process can take.
That's right.
So there's a lot comes in with it, but again, it's an area that I find comfort in, because A, you're helping the animal, and B, I hope I'm helping the human as well, because I've been there, I understand, I know what it's like, and that letting go aspects. And then knowing once they have crossed over, they say to me, like, who are they with and how are they? And do they forgive me because they've had to make a decision? Animals, again, forgive, so forgiving. So my is quite varied, to be honest. Or we get someone, and this is quite an interesting one, when sometimes relationships break up, a new partner comes in and the dog don't like I'm laughing. But I know I'd say, dog, love me, love my dog. It's always my motto. That does happen quite a bit as well. There's very, lots of ways that I do actually work. I was really, to be honest. Another way I've worked is where people are thinking about rescuing an animal from a centre, and they want me to sort of chat with the animal or animals. There might be an option 2 or 3 to which one will best fit in with their pleasant animals they've already got. So that works quite well as well. And then obviously another area, I'm not a vet, I do not diagnose, but I do a lot of this where there may be issues within like the body physically, and they can't quite pinpoint out what's taking place with the animal. So I tap in to see how the animal's feeling, where I might feel it, what I might feel, but I don't diagnose. So I do a lot of that as well.
No. Can I just ask you as well here? I was in that, and if there's any questions in the audience, please, who are listening, please put in the comment box.
There's one from Margaret after.
Okay, we'll get that in a minute. What I was going to ask was, you said about, when do you kind of know as well when it's time for an animal to go, and that was my question about it all. To be fair, that was my question, because I kept thinking, well, how will I know it's the right time? For Cassie, and I, when they said about Cassie getting put to sleep, I knew it wasn't the right time. Absolutely wasn't the right time. And then I had another vet who was really exceptionally good, called Debbie. She was excellent, and she said, "No, you'll know. You'll know." She says, "We're getting there now." She said, "We're getting closer." She says, "But you'll know." And I kept thinking, well, how am I going to know? How am I going to know? Because she's not ready. She's not ready. And then this morning I got up, and wow, it was just change overnight, and I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it. And to be honest, couldn't get to the vet quick enough, you know,
Yeah.
because I thought, I don't want you suffering. You're now starting to really suffer and you're in a lot of pain now. And she just looked dreadful. She looked terrible. And yet what the vet said was, she's probably been in pain, but she's been putting a front on for you. Do you know, even although she was on lots of medication and painkillers, etc., animals will put on that face to you because they don't want you to worry. They don't want to let you down.
That's right.
I still feel, you know, I know it was the right thing I did that day. I know it was, but then in your head you think, gosh, I hope she forgives me for that. Do you know, I really hope she forgives me for that. Do you know?
And you
isn't
know,
that part of grief, Alice? That's, as you said, that's part of grief. You're grieving before you even lose her.
It's still pretty tough.
it's still early days. Still very early. 8 weeks is no time at all. It's still very, very early days. Let's face it. And obviously we speak about them. We're invoking their memory as well as they come up. And I've lost
And you're
animals.
feeling that love, that unconditional love.
And I know animals, you know, like my Jimmy was the same. He was diagnosed with bone cancer, and like from diagnosis and looking, just suddenly started to limp one day, and I took him to vets. He just gave him some pain relief. He pulled a muscle. He was gone within 2 weeks. It was that, and it's like that knowing they're going to go. I don't know which is worse, knowing they're going to go, or they go suddenly. You know, it's either way. It doesn't make it right. But I took him, and I'm glad. My regret with him is I took him a day too late. That's my regret, and that's because of my husband, because he, don't take him, and so that. But then again, I know my Jimmy'd forgive me. I know that because we for love, you know.
I know the love's there. The love is just, it's unconditional, as they say. It's an unconditional love that's there.
Yeah.
And I'd like to share this with your listeners, because this was my first real. This was before I was doing my spiritual work. I mean, I know I've been, you know, as a child, I'd seen spirit as a child, but you know, my standard poodle, funny enough, and he wasn't a show dog. He was my pet, and I loved him to bits. And I knew he wasn't well on this particular evening. And in the morning, I was going to take him. I had a appointment to take him to the vets. And that in the night, he was in my bedroom. He didn't want to sleep on the bed. He just wanted to be in my bedroom. And he was by the wardrobe. And I looked over at him, and he was a very black standard poodle, and I could see his light leaving his body. It was almost like his soul, his spirit emitting from his body. And I just like in awe of what I saw. But at that time, I didn't know what I was looking at, because he was still alive. He was still breathing. The next day, he didn't pass. I truly know that I saw his soul leaving his body.
Yeah.
He was still here.
I've heard a lot of people say they've seen that. You know, you know, I did see that with my gran. I seen that with my gran. You know, but it's beautiful to be able to see that with an animal. You know, but you know, can I just ask you this before we go on to Margaret's question? Do you think a dog knows that they're dying? Do you think they know?
This is a very good question. And I would say, no, I've got a dog now. She's 13 and a half, and she's getting to that point where she's got cancer, memory gland cancer. But she's a miracle dog, because that dog does not want to pass. And I laugh because she's been ill since she was 18 months of age. She's had serious health issues. And I know she'll just go. She's one of those dogs that will just go. So I think for her, I think she knows she's not well, but she won't give into it just yet. Yeah, I've got another dog that I also get, an older dog now here, and I think she knows. So I think when it gets close, they know. I just think they know. Because even when she also has seizures, when she's going to have a seizure, before she has a seizure, she knows, because she comes to sit with me, and I know it's coming. I was like, she comes to sit with me because she's my husband. She prefers my husband to me.
You know, Anita, that's very true, because before we had a love beautiful, one of our babies they were all Rotties, most of them, and he was a giant breed, and he was only 4, and he's still a baby, wasn't he? And we went to bed one night, and he was fine, perfect, and we came down, and he couldn't walk, and we thought, what have you done? He wasn't, I don't know. We took him, so we got him straight to the vet, and we had to get x-rays and all sorts to try and see what was happening. and it turned out that his whole socket had just crumbled. His whole legs, it just crumbled, and his size went against him. And she said, you know, he's, I don't think he had survived the surgery. It's so intense that I don't think he could survive the surgery, but we weren't ready to let him go. And I know it sounded selfish, but we said to her, look, can we just go home and spend time with him? And we'll make sure he's pain relief and he's got comfortable, but even if we can have one the weekend. And we got the weekend with him, and we knew we were having to take him back, and everything happened very quickly. And do you know, she barely touched him and he passed. And she said, I barely touched him.
Oh, bless.
She said he was hanging on for you. He didn't want to leave. And so that was very true. And we experienced that with ours. So it is hard.
Yeah.
When they're getting here. And so interesting, there's a question here that Margaret has asked about you start looking for a lost or missing animal by using their lead or their bed, etc. So basically, yes, I'd say to you, Margaret, yes, you can. What you'll be doing is you'll be psychometrizing, reading the psychic information that is in that item that you're holding. What you'll do is you'll pick up more on you can communicate with the animal. So maybe get a feeling for what they want to show you, what they want to tell you. They might give you images, impressions of where they are, surrounding areas. So yes, I would say to you, you can definitely tap into the energy of the animal using something like a bed or a lead, so long as it specifically was theirs. I mean, I've got several dogs at home; they sleep everywhere, so it wouldn't work for that. But if they've got their own lead, their own collar, yes, I would say to you, you can use that, hold it, sit with it, and just get an idea. Images may come to you via, like, in your mind. You may get smells, you may get sounds, you may get just visions of stuff, and hear things. So just it can come in a random of ways of information. And I would just say to you, sit, and there's no harm in trying. Is what I'm saying to you, Margaret. Yeah.
Have you ever managed to get a pet that's went missing and retrieve it back?
I have had quite a few, but I always say no. I laugh because it's hard work. I'm not going to lie to you, and it's hard work. As in, I so want to find it because I had a dog that went missing for 5 days and we found it. So I so want to find it for the human that comes in the scenario as well. And I don't want to rise expectations because I know how challenging it can be. And then you locate the animal and it moves on. But I've had the two come to mind. One was a woman who was in the States, and I was communicating with her via Zoom. She was on a mobile phone, and I gave her what I saw, the location that was, and she physically walked there from her house and found her cat. But that is an exception. That is an exception. And the other one was a lady, again, also in the States as well, funny enough. I've done quite a bit in the UK. This was in the States. And there had been a chemical spill in the early hours of the morning. And the whole village or town had to come out at the pneumonia. They had dogs, they had 2 dogs, a couple of cats. They had quite a lot of different pets, 3 children. And they also had 2 gecko lizards. Now, in the main, they lost their son's gecko lizard in the basement. Well, long story short, I gave what I could see, what I could feel, what I could smell, what I could hear, and I thought it'd gone into like a linen cupboard, but it hadn't. It'd gone into like a speaker, the old-fashioned black speakers. I could see netting. I could hear a clock ticking. I could have a very strong smell. So I gave all these impressions of what I could see, what I could hear, and she said to me, "They found him in the back of the speaker. They stripped it down. That's where they found him, alive."
Wow.
So that's what come to mind. But it ain't, it's not. It doesn't. It takes quite a lot of work on both parts because I can only give the information that I'm receiving. Then the human has to then go out and do the tracking.
Yeah.
And then what they can do, they can then. I might say I see the ice cream man with a bit of, and they get there and it was here an hour ago. It's moved on. So
Anita, have you ever? Do you know the way cats, they're roamers, and especially a tomcat, and I don't have a cat, I've always had dogs, but I know tomcats can roam, and they say that sometimes a cat will move on. And join another family. And have you ever had that where somebody's come to you and they've lost their pet, the pet's still alive, has made a home with another family? How have you got around that? Like,
yeah, it's a very good question, actually, because I've had that. Whereas one lady, again, this was an example where she had a new partner, nothing wrong with that, but the cat didn't particularly like the new partner, and the cat did find a new home not too far away. And again, the woman, she was actually she was happy. So as long as I know he is happy, I am happy. Is what she let go with love, which I think was very nice. She was happy to let go with love. There was someone else who, again, similar situation, but she wanted the cat back, and the cat did not want to come back.
How did you get around that?
Well, with that one, again, it's a little bit challenging because when we do animal communication, it's purely about honouring the animal. So there are sometimes some difficult tact, comes down to tact basically, but some difference where you may think, oh, it's difficult to say it to somebody. But I did say that the cat was very happy there, being well cared, but I want the cat back. And so then I said, so it's, I said to her, the cat, is happy there. She said, no, it's my cat, I want the cat back, I don't want the lady. So then all I could do was say to the cat, Mum is coming for you. But there was a bit of a legal battle taking place trying to get the cat back. So again, I can only give what I was feeling, but the cat did not want to go back. But she was adamant, rather than letting go for the well of the animal, she wanted that cat back. The cat wasn't happy. But again, it comes down.
That would be a hard situation.
It was. And the other one I had was where a couple broke up, and the partner stole the dog from his ex-partner, and the partner wanted their dog back, and the ex-partner wouldn't let it go, and the dog wanted to go back. That was quite a challenging one. But the dog, in the end, did go back to mum. It didn't go back to the end in the mum.
Yeah. It's quite sad though. When an animal is led back to its owner when they don't want to go. That is a tough one. Cats are very psychic as well, though. So is dogs. So, but I don't know about you, but and I'm sure you have. You watch your dog and they see something.
Oh, yeah.
they're looking, or they'll bark, or they're looking up, and as if is that right, sort of thing. And they're seeing somebody from spirit world. And sometimes you kind of tune in and oh, I know that's my dad, or and I also know as well that Mia knows where Cassie's ashes are.
Oh yeah.
I think that's quite something, because we've got it in the unit, but it's lovely and it's all kind of wrapped up, and it's but she just this day she was in the kitchen and she just walked straight from the kitchen straight up right down the dining room into the living room and just stood right in front of it. And then she put her head in, and she leant her head in, and she put her head on the unit, and she just kept smelling, and she just kept her head on the unit. And we just were looking at her flabbergasted. This was like 3 days after Cassie passed. And she kind of made a very unusual noise that I hadn't heard before, and then she got up. And then she walked away, and she's never went back since. She's never went back since.
In her own way, playing her respects and saying her goodbyes in her own way, wasn't she?
Yeah, so that it's like I sometimes wonder if Cassie was saying, "Here I am." I'm here.
She was. I am, and I think people again, people don't perceive that animals that do lose somebody, or an animal or a person, they grieve just like we grieve. They go through that grieving process as well. And people don't always understand that animal, if you shared their life with a dog, a cat, or whoever, they do also, as I say, grieve just like we grieve that loss.
Yeah, what is this one? Gerard is asking, do you have the energy to let me know where my wee dog could be? Oh, have you lost your wee dog, Gerard? Have you lost your dog?
Yeah, lovely picture.
Or is your dog in spirit world? If you could just even put a wee comment on that as to what you mean.
I don't know if you have a picture on it.
I could see that, just the picture there, they're like a nice looking dog there, blue.
Hold on, wait till I go back on again. Yes. Yes. Okay.
Right, if it's a lost dog, what we do is we have to I do like remote viewing, I do dowsing, I do map reading, I use coordinates. When I work, it's a bit like doing forensic mediumship in a way when I'm looking for a lost animal. So I use all those aspects. First aspect would be to look at if the animal is still in the physical body. That's the first we need to look at. Once we've got via that, then I would use sort of like remote viewing. I tap into the animal, I communicate with the animal specifically to get an idea of sights and sounds and landmarks. So yes, it's that's where it's energy exchange basically. My energy is mind to mind communication, heart to heart connection. How it works basically. Can't guarantee we're going to find the animal, but that is how it works. If the animal's in spirit on the other side of life, again, it's just me as that medium, that vessel, tapping into the energy of your dog. It's discarnated, it's passed over. So its energy never dies.
Yeah.
And maybe Jared should contact you privately with the photo, or speak to you maybe privately. You could maybe help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got I've put your website up there anyway, so they can contact you through your website. Yeah,
thank you.
I'll just do that again. So as they've got it.
So Anita, you do the trauma, relationship trauma healing. What got you into that? If you don't mind me asking.
I'm not. I just do healing.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. My apologies.
Yeah, I do. I do SNU healer. So basically, just
that's right.
And I do so not so much. But I think when we think of trauma, let's face it, healing works. I'm not specifically a trauma healer, but I do work, and I think healing is like works on four levels. It works on mind, body, spirit, and on the mental aspects of ourselves. So where that trauma can come in, let's face it, aspect of our being. So for me, and again, for me, healing. When I feel like the most important, even with me, wherever I work, where I'm doing, I do a lot of sound healing, vibrational healing. So wherever I work, it's all about. I mean, it's about healing, because I think people come to you for a psychic reading. It's still healing, because they need to hear that guidance, what they need to hear. Animals, it's all for me. It's under umbrella of healing, and I'm a great advocate. I think healing, in a way, can be not forgotten about, but it can be like when I first started my journey, it seemed like a lesser part of the work sometimes, if that makes sense, which I don't think it should be. I think healing is so important.
Yeah.
So, here's a question from Margaret. Anita, do you think it's important that you let your animal say goodbye to another animal that's passing and an owner family member that's passing?
100%, I would say yes.
Yeah.
100%.
I was advised that as well. Advised that.
The other animals know, I would say too, and just and I think just let it occur naturally, because you'll get some animals that will want to come over and lay with and be with, and other animals want to just stand back and observe. So it's just really just setting up the environment so they can say their goodbyes. It's a very healing, I want to say to you, both aspects. The other animal, that's that transitional point of their life, they will know animal is there. Or a family member, they will know. And I just think here, the greatest gift you can give sometimes an animal, especially if you've got to make a decision to be with that animal, just to hold the animal if you can, if it's not too big. Lay on the floor, hold the animal, be with that animal.
That's what I did. I lay right on the floor with her.
Be with that animal. That's
the whole thing. Yeah, you're right, Anita. And also we were advised by the vet as well to let Mia be part of it. So she didn't go home and start looking and start thinking she's lost. Where is she? So she was very much part of it. And because of that, she's never went looking for her.
Yeah.
So
they are, people don't really appreciate the intelligence that they do have to understand. Again, they're sentient beings. They have the knowledge. They have the understanding. And all animals, their own different species will have their interaction with their own kind, and will know that time. Look at elephants. Elephants grieve. They have the great elephant graveyard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a natural space. It's not obviously not a graveyard like we know, but they have their own graveyard for their mourning aspects. They are no different. I think when we talk about animal communication, I like to put the word animals out of it, because we are animals. It's just communication.
That's so true. Yeah, we are.
It's just communication. You know, I don't think of like a dog, a cat, a horse, whatever. I just connect and communicate. Some communication, say for a lizard, could be a little bit more bland, but it still communicates.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. Even like the birds, when you're outside and a bird will all of a sudden just come and sit next to you, and you're looking at it and the bird's looking at you, you know, and it's like you're having that soul chat to the bird, whether it's a pigeon or whatever kind of bird it is, or a robin, you know, doesn't really matter, you know. I mean, my photo album's full of animals.
A little bit like mine as well, really.
Birds, you know, you name it, you know.
My children are very grown up now. They're adults, but one prefers dogs more than us.
Yeah. There's something that takes you there, isn't there? There's something you all of a sudden you'll look and think, oh look, you know, and you've just got to see the picture, you know. It's you just can feel that soul connection, can't you? It's just it's lovely, you know. And I agree with you as well. You know, you've got to be an animal person, an animal lover that really feel that, because some people don't see it that way and they just see it as well, you can always go and get another one, do you know.
But how I look at it, they're the ones who's missing out.
Missing out.
They're the ones, you know, that's how I look at it. And that's fine. That's, you know, they're obviously not ready enough to embrace that part of themselves, because but I say, for me, it was I know from a very small age that is, and I think it's just fortunate my dad helped me as well with it.
Did your dad communicate with animals as well, or?
Yeah, my dad did, and my dad was like, there's a story I will tell you. It's many years ago. I accent come from London, East End of London. I don't know if you'll be aware of what was called the Lane. Years ago, there's like a market, like a street market. Used to sell like animals then years ago, and we don't do it now. And he was only about 12, and he brought home a monkey from the market. This is a true story. And his mum, my grandma, made him take it back to the market. Like, thank you can't do these things now, but back then you could probably buy anything down the market. Came back this pet monkey, so he had it in him there. He did.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because it's something I think that's running in your family with it, you know.
You used to be able to get, my friend, actually, when I was at high school, my friend's grandmother came back from the Sunday market with a monkey.
Oh, yeah.
And I was only at school, and I was like, I want a monkey. But needless to say, she never got to keep her monkey either. My friend, actually, my best friend, they kept monkeys. You know, you had to have a license for them.
Yeah.
And they kept on monkeys and bred monkeys, and they you know, it was all above board with the licenses and everything, and they used to come out and inspect everything. And but now she doesn't have them now, but she is the perfect animal lover. I always say to her, Archangel areas around her, if we go away on holiday or we do anything, you look out your apartment door and Rosalind is feeding animals. Everywhere you go, there's cats, there's wee dogs, they all follow her, and they all gather outside our door in the morning for food. It's like you just know. They just know they're there.
Yeah.
And it's like energy, isn't it? You know,
it's energy. Yeah, I know.
Sense other people's energy, and you're doing it with animals, I suppose.
Yeah, I think animals do know. Cats, whatever, especially domesticated animals, they're in their homes. They know likes them, they know dislikes them. You know, and it's like, and again, my nan used to make me laugh. My grandma she used to say to me, if a dog don't like someone, trust that dog.
Yeah, that's true.
See, Anita, we our fur baby, it loves everybody. Apart from, he's got now where he's protective of, you know, and it seems to be a male thing. And he's met 2 males in his life Now he's met more, but there's specifically 2 he met, and he actually piddles. And I said to my partner, no, he's not right for him, because he wouldn't do that. So there was a fear. To me, there was a fear there. Is that correct?
True. That when they urinate like that, that is being submissive. There was a fear there. I would say she's probably picking up on a fear of that particular reason for them people. And often it's, again, with animals, especially dogs, it is there. It's like the smell. Probably the scent those guys may have been giving off would be enough to that. I don't like you. The energy would be given off, because again, you think about the pheromones we give off. They probably could be giving off quite aggressive pheromones to your dog, or disliking pheromones that your dog will pick up on.
Yeah. Did you ever come across that, Alice, where Maya or Casey would act differently, just out of the blue, randomly with somebody, but they wouldn't act like that normally?
Well, I could tell you more of a funny story, really, with Cassie, because right up until she was about 10, right up till she was about 9 or 10, and then it changed. She used to get that excited when people would come in. She would piddle, you know, and it wasn't fear. It was just more that she was just, because it was a Springer Spaniel, you know, she got that excited, she would piddle. So I thought, oh my goodness, you know, when she gets a bit older, it'll get better, because it was always when somebody came through the door and you had the mop right behind Cassie, you'd be, you know, because she would just be dribbling all the way. She was so excited. But when she got older, I thought it would have got worse. But no, when she reached about 9 or 10, it stopped. It actually stopped. Yeah. So where you'd have thought it would have got worse as she got older, it actually stopped. But yeah, I have had where I would say more with Mia, not so much Cassie. Cassie welcomed everybody, but more Mia, the cockapoo. She's more kind of like, you can hear her grumbling underneath if she's not sure about that person, and you know, and you know that she's like, I want this person out of the house. Yeah. You know,
because their body language is
that. You know, she's saying that to you. You know,
their body language definitely changes from like giddy and bubbly and to like they're stepping back, and
it does.
I think what I will say, what I feel is, it's not about it's fear, but about when I was little, my granddad taught us how to interact with animals, full stop. And I think, sadly, over time, this has been eroded. And I've been out many a times when, if I was at my granddad and you want to touch a dog, stroke a dog, or pick it, you know, you respect the animal space. You let the animal come to you. But so many times I've been out and people just grab your dog, do this.
That's right.
There needs to be, I would say, education needs to be done about how people interact with animals that they don't belong to them or own to them, because that has gone. It's been eroded completely.
I've even had it in the car. I've had it in the car as well. You know, people come up and you're sitting in the car, and they'll come up and go, "Oh, look at that wee dog," and they put their face right up to where she is, right up, you know, and they go, "Oh, hello," and then Neil go, "Bah, bah, bah," you know, and just like this beautiful white dog that looks so beautiful, and then goes, you know, and I'm like, well, what do you expect? I mean, all of a sudden she's just seeing this face up at her at the window,
and it's her territory still.
And that's still protecting us. Or you're out and then somebody will just come over and go, "Oh, hi," you don't just do that, you know. But people, you know, the people that are educated, because they'll come up slowly and they'll be like this with their hand, you know, and then Neil kind of smell it, and then she'll let them pat, and it's like, okay, that's fine. But it's when it's out the blue and they just lunge right in there, you know. You're right. There should be more education on that.
Education about how people, especially children, interact with animals. I think I do what I see when I do my work. That really, my dog training work, that has been eroded and it's almost like been forgotten about. I will say to, and I think that's where a lot of things are going wrong in certain places with attacks with animals as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Different subject.
A lot of times the breed of the dog gets the blame, but a lot of times it's a dog is what we make a dog's. I always say a dog's not born bad. It's how we care for it and look after it, and sadly some aren't.
Their needs aren't being met, are they? For some.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah. I was going to ask you something there, and it's went right out of my head now. What was it? Oh yeah. So what have you got coming up? Have you got anything coming up, Anita?
During the summer months, I do quite a lot of. I do show my own dogs. I've got 9 dogs, and I do show them throughout the summer. So some of them are getting quite old now. So I've got quite a lot of dog shows coming up. I'm doing my animal communication course, which I do run that every single year. That's sort of halfway through, concluding now. So good question to ask me, because I'm one of these people. I put things in the diary and I forget what you asked me tomorrow, and I have to remember what I'm doing. But basically,
I know.
I'm also running a retreat in Marrakesh in November, so I'm looking forward to doing a retreat in November. So that's
very good.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. So lots of different things that I'm sort of fingers in lots of things, really.
Have you some places on your retreat for anybody maybe that's wanting to go?
I thought you were offering their services there.
Just put that out there. Any more availability?
It's not on the website, but it should be. It's on my social media. It's on Instagram. So, and I'm doing it with a friend of mine. It's called MVS Retreats, basically. So it's on there, but it's in November. It's a lovely venue. It should be fantastic, actually. So that's my big thing this year that I'm doing.
So what are you doing there then, Anita?
It's going to be like the Soul Sanctuary Receipt. I'm going to do the Munakay rites for the womb rites. So basically, it will be for females. I don't exclude men, but this is for females. So I'm a great one for working duality, I must admit. Basically, like working on your soul self, or that creative space, and like just reflecting upon our own soul self and work on the vibration. So
looks good. That sounds really good. Sounds really good. Yeah, I've never been on a retreat like that. Have you? No.
I keep saying to myself, I'd love to go on like a Buddha retreat, like just really simple, but all to do. I'm really into Buddhas, and I don't know why, but maybe I just need to sit in the silence for a while and stop talking.
I'll go on any retreat. I'll go on any retreat at all. I'm not.
So would I, but I don't know why. I think it would be amazing to go on like a Buddha and like a temple, and not local, but like what you're doing. That would be. I'm sure there's temples where you're going to go, Anita, and just experience that would be yes.
Well, I've been to it's just outside of Marrakesh. So just literally quite in Marrakesh. So it's backdrop of the Atlas Mountains. I've been there once before. It's a very cultural place, I will say to you. But I like it. I like it. There's a lot there. It's got a very special energy, I will say to you as well. A very poor country, but it's got a lot of spiritual energy there.
Oh, lovely.
But you said about the Buddhist retreat. I did work with a lady last week. She'd been on a Buddhist retreat for 10 days. She had 10 days of no silence, no internet, no phones, no nothing. She said it really was. But she's come out of there. She said to me, she can't believe that. She said it was almost like she could feel, she does do spiritual work herself, but she said it was like feel yourself shifting between the two valves. It was so serene to be there.
Yeah. I think that would be, it would be quite hard as well, wouldn't it?
I think a day. If I repeats, Anita talks too much. I think 10 days.
Yeah, she deserves a medal.
10 days. 10 days. Wow.
Yeah.
But she said she found it hard coming back, like the first day back at home. She found it very difficult. She was just like bombarded of everything again.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Then all of a sudden you're coming into all the noise, all the buzz and energy all around you, which could be quite overwhelming from coming from one extreme to the next. There's no kind of easing you back in gently, is there really?
Yeah.
Can I just say, guys, everyone we have on comments, that's not me contacting you, that's a scammer. They're commenting below. They've cloned my profile and they're commenting below your comments. It's a scammer. It's not me. Please don't fall for that.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I could see them, and they're contacting everybody and making out it's me, and it's not me. They're scammers.
There's a lot of that going around. There wasn't there scammers, wanting to.
And do you know what? I must be doing something right because they're torturing me at the minute. So,
oh, that's a shame.
What can I say? It's not me, guys. Don't fall for it.
Yeah. No. That's
around.
Yeah, that's it. Well, this is it, isn't it? When you're out in the media, you expect, to have all walks of life, casting that little shadow on us at times, So it's important that we just put it out there to people for them to be aware, but also stay in our own loving light as well,
Yeah.
But it sounds like you've got a lot planned ahead there, Anita, it's been a really interesting chat with you. It's been great to have you on. No one else has got any questions coming in. The only other question I could ask possibly before we leave is, how do you get a dog to eat what you're putting down, especially when it's good food you're putting down? Like Mia's became a little fuss pot, so she's got her kibble, or she'll have chicken with it, or she'll have roast beef with her kibble, or she'll have lots of different things. But if it's not what we're having that night, then she's just like, oh, they're not touching that. I'm not going near it, and she won't go near it. She won't.
No, I get what you're saying, because again, two aspects to that question I want to say to you, Alice, because poodles can be very, very fussy eaters, full stop. All right, so I don't know, like the cockapoos are not, they eat anything. So you may find in her breed, her line, her lineage, the poodle may be slightly more stronger in some ways than the cockapoo. So that is your first aspect. Poodles again are very highly intelligent animals. I will say highly. People don't appreciate just because they are. I know you've got the smaller standard there, but they're an ancient breed, ancient, been bred to work. They're the first water dog that man ever knew to hunt in water. So they're highly intelligent. So again, here you probably taught her about your question would come in that area where people come to me. Or sometimes it's not an animal communication, it turns out to be a behavioural consultation. So what you're looking at is a behavioural consultation, I would say to you, because because I've got that background to know that you probably have been sitting there feeding her by hand. So I can see you've been feeding her by hand. So basically she's got you well trained, is all I'm going to say to you.
Dogs can pick up, because when Cassie was very ill, and you knew, Maya was starting to show signs that she was worrying and she was stressing, and then
Cassie at the time so could eat.
So we do change that pattern, but we're doing it with love and we're doing it for a good reason. But at the end of the day, when you think about it, we're still changing that pattern.
Mia's picked up on. She obviously didn't feel right. She didn't. Honestly, poodles are can be fussy as they can be. Full stop. Mm-hmm. She's then picked up, because that intelligence comes through here and the sensitivity. She's obviously grieving. You're grieving. You're trying to pacify, trying to feed her. She's learned. I can get. I've had my poodle. I used to feed him on a spoon, so I've been there. And he wouldn't feed them on a spoon. But it depends how far you want to take it. You could have no healthy animal will starve themselves to death. No animal will. Animal. No. You either be strong, put the food down and ignore her, and 20 minutes later pick it up, chuck it away, do what you want to do with it, and don't give her no human food. You want to be how firm you want to be, so that you can break the mold, you can break the pan. It could be 3 days, it could be a week before she starts to watch. I'm hungry, I'm not getting nothing, I'm going to eat my dinner.
Well, that's what's happened. It's actually went 3 days before she eventually ate her dinner. Not the same dinner, of course, but before she ate anything, she went 3 days. I was like, this is unbelievable. You must be starving,
But they're more persistent than you are, more determined. So if she's going to do something 50 times, you're going to override it 51 times. That's how strong animals are. But what I would suggest, if you're cooking your human food, why not give, depending on what your kids are, and dogs can eat our food. You know, there's mince meat or whatever, bit of veg, but then give it. She's eating that, enjoying it. Why not give her that?
Yeah. I've been doing that, trying to kind of even like, I've even tried, okay, well, we've had this, so we'll give you a bit of what we've had, and then she'll take that and leave the rest.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I mean, I would probably, I don't want you actually feed her on, but I would probably like give a little bit less of dog food, incorporate what you're, you know, whatever you're making. Say just mashed potato, for example, and a bit of mince meat. Right. Yeah, mash it in, bit of gravy. Gravy you've got to be mindful of because it's obviously got salt content. Mash it in with a put it on the floor, but then you need to ignore her as well. Mum said, "Come on, Mia, come on," which we all do.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And leave it. I would suggest then it's nothing. But I laugh because I don't listen to my own bit of advice, so don't worry.
Do you not find cockapoos are a greedy breed anyway?
They're hungry breed.
Do you know what we started doing? Because, well, I know Benjamin's greedy. I can only speak for Benjamin, but I thought they were all kind of like that.
I wish mine was.
Well, Benjamin is. So do you know what I started doing? If I'm making the dinner, if I'm using like fresh carrots, I skin and wash the carrot and I give him it, and he loves it, and he thinks he's getting such a treat. So my partner, he spoils them with, well, mostly I do too, but he really spoils them. But I would, like, there's carrots and apples. I would give him an apple and cut it up, and he thinks it's great. And it's amazing what you actually can give fur babies, as in, like what you say, normal foods.
Yeah, I would say, just if anyone's thinking about giving the dog normal food, just go on, because onions is a no.
Grapes as well.
Grapes, no. Anything to do with like carrots and
raisins, raisins in it.
Mushroom. So but if you're having like a normal, like bit of, cooking, just like, I don't know, you're doing a bit of mince meat or whatever, and a bit of mashed potato, I love carrots, broccoli, peas, sweet potato. There's years ago, this is a fact actually, I know this could be a whole different topic on your program. Dogs lived longer years ago when they ate more. Most dogs would have the scraps after family had their dinner.
Yeah.
And I remember that. I'm old enough to, but my mum didn't buy dogs. The other dog, I mean, you go to the supermarket, it was like 2 varieties. I mean, now you're bombarded with dog food, brands of this, brands of that, brands, whatever. Years ago, you had 2 options. I think it was Chappie and something else.
That's right.
Our dogs were fed on scraps.
They got what you got.
Big dogs. We had golden retriever, big dog. She was gone 18 years of age. You don't find many dogs that big dogs living to 18 years of age.
No, you're right.
Yeah. Do your research, go back and look. Dogs were living longer.
Yeah,
no, you're right. That is true. Yeah.
Because my first dog when I was a child was a Labrador, and he lived to be 16. Do you know?
What did he
He had everything my mum and dad had. He had everything my mum and dad had.
Yeah, with my friend, she had a dog called Bobby. It was a rescue dog. That dog, that dog never ever had dog food. That she had a mum that cooked everything from scratch, everything. And that dog had whatever they had for dinner, including a cup of tea and a cup of tea. It was before it passed away.
I would say to my partner, stop letting him, stop feeding him them wee bits, or stop. And he always says, that's exactly what he says to me. When his mum she used to breed Cocker Spaniels and show dogs. And he used to say to me, when my mum used to bring up dogs, they ate what we ate. And they weren't much healthier.
They were much healthier. I mean, I'm saying don't go and start cooking what you feel you want to cook in, but because again, but be mindful. Do your research first. You want to be giving like bacon, pancreatitis. So be mindful. But years ago, meat and 2 veg was ideal for the animals as well. That's what I used to have, and they was healthier. They weren't obese then. So there's a lot to be said. I was saying to you about the old way of doing things.
Yeah. Well, we're coming to time now, so I would like to just say thank you so much for being on here, Anita. And I would love to have you back on again at some point. I think it's great that we can talk about animals, and that's why, you know, when Judith will say, "Oh, you know, if her dog barks or whatever," or you know, I'll say, "Listen, I know you're on silent just now because the dog's barking, but you know, dogs are welcome. Dogs are welcome, and always will be, because as far as I'm concerned, they're part of us.
Yeah,
They're very much part of us, and I've loved having you on talking about this and listening to your expertise, and it's been really good. I've really enjoyed it, you know, and and Judith's got her cockapoo now beside her. Mine isn't here. She's downstairs with her daddy. Yeah. Daddy. Yeah. So I'd like to thank you for being on the show. But before we say good night, I would also like to just reiterate a little bit here about how to contact Anita. So I have been putting this on and off. So it's Anita at anitadenise.com, and also www.anitadenise.com. Okay, you know, so before I leave, I would also like to just, for everybody listening, a few things coming up before we head off. Tomorrow night, I will be attending the Stars from Above Sanctuary, which is in Prestwick, and it's in Carloverk Road. So I will be there doing a mediumship demonstration at 7:30 tomorrow night at Stars from Above Sanctuary in Prestwick. Debbie Romero is organising a fundraiser, and it's Mission 22 fundraising, and it's for veterans and the help with them and for their families. And there will be around 17 mediums at this fundraiser, and there will be healing, there will be all sorts of spirit art as well. And it will be live on YouTube and Facebook, and it will be Pacific time, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. and UK time, it will start at 5. I'm also doing a spirit art mediumship demonstration at the Arden Cable Hotel in Shore Road in Helensburgh, and it is Thursday, May the 30th. If anybody is interested in buying a ticket for this, please contact me at alicetrevorrow@gmail.com, and if not, you can contact the Arden Cable Hotel itself if you want a meal prior to the actual show event. But other than that, the tickets are through myself at alicetrevorrow@gmail.com, and that will be a spirit art mediumship demonstration with myself and Alexis Wilson. This will also include the spirit art drawings that you will also receive on the night. There's also 2 free gifts for the lucky number winner that will be on the tickets. So there's 2 free gifts on this night. The tickets can be sold through myself or through Eventbrite, and they are selling at £10. So that's me. Oh no, it's not. No, it's not. It's something else. I forgot. I'm doing a mediumship workshop. So it's Spark of Light Spiritual Centre and School online, and it's a mediumship workshop I'm doing, and it's the 23rd of June, 1 till 5. It's at a very, very reasonable price. If you want more information, please contact me at alicetrevorrow@gmail.com. So I think it's £20 or £25. I can't remember offhand, but if you want to contact me about that, then please do. Mediumship workshop, and it's also for beginners or people progressing on in their mediumship. It's not for advanced. Okay. And next week it's going to be a little different. We promised you once a month that we would do, in honor of everybody that's supporting the channel, that we would do a night we would deliver messages. So we will be doing that. It will be Judith, myself, and another guest that will be on the show. Judith, you know the guests.
Yes.
What's the guest's name again?
It's Ross, the secret healer, Ross.
Ross, the secret healer.
Yeah, he's lovely. He's very quirky in the way he works, and he's from South Africa. So, yeah,
Good.
he's lovely. Yeah.
Good, that's good. So it'll be the three of us, and it will be next Tuesday at the same time, 8 o'clock. But it's just an appreciation of you all supporting the channel, and for those who have been subscribing, we so appreciate it, because it gets us up the ranking a little bit. So so it's free to subscribe, and we do appreciate it. I started this out. Spirit guided me to do this, told me they wanted it more out there into the world about spirituality, all aspects of spirituality, for people who perhaps don't understand it, want to know more, or didn't know at all. And that's what I've done. So if you can subscribe, I do appreciate it, please. So thank you so much. And I want to thank everybody all the guests has actually been on the show this evening. And this will go live on Spotify Thursday at 8 o'clock. Okay, so I would like
Can
to
I just say before we finish?
Yes, of course you can.
Guys, everyone, my episode 5 of Prophetic News is out tonight. It will be out shortly. So again, there's something in there that you're going to sit back and go, really? Spirit always throws something in. So please, episode 5, join in tonight. And I host that with Marcus Neusser from Germany. Well, he's in Mexico of the Parapsychological Studies, but that's taking place. I have a manifestation workshop coming up. It's a course that will, I'm going to be running. I have other workshops coming up. Keep an eye out, because I have quite a lot going to be coming up, and events too. So I'm quite excited to share it all with you soon.
Okay, that's great. So what's the show called again?
Prophetic News.
Prophetic News.
I've done that wrong.
So,
yeah, YouTube. It's on YouTube, guys. Episode 5 is out. Lots has already come true. If you look at the timelines that each episode is posted every fortnight, you can see the timelines. Everything, quite a lot has come true. So.
I'll need to have a wee listen at that as well.
I will.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Judith, for assisting me this evening on the show. Yeah, thank you so much for assisting me on the show. And Anita, thank you so much, sweetheart. And I look forward to having you back again later on in the year, if possible, if we can work that out. Okay. Thank you so much. And to everybody out there, please remember, look after yourself and look after each other.